You are the master of doom and gloom. You say it yourself, you're a bar humbug. You are a bar humbug. You really are.
Well,
let's go to the spa together as two middle-aged guys.
Why the fuck do I want to help anyone else out? They don't care about me. That's not quite true. Some do. But when you've only just met the person...
I remember when we were younger, I don't know if you did this, I would sit with the Argos catalogue. You don't get an Argos catalogue anymore.
No.
So how do kids now choose what they want for Christmas? I'm going to check with your wife what you do for her birthday.
You can check.
And I'm going to make sure she doesn't go into detail. Because I don't want to details.
We've been married too long for too much of that, haven't we?
Hello and welcome to The Parent in Business. Episode, 2 or 3 if you count the bonus episode from the end of last week after the budget. Welcome, my name's Stuart and we've got Ben here as well. Hey Ben.
Evening all.
So this is, if you don't know already and you haven't listened to previous episodes, this is a podcast all about the trials and tribulations of being a parent, being a business owner or a manager and juggling all that stuff. So we're just going to have a bit of a chat and hopefully get you guys involved, get you joining in and coming on at some point. But for now, you're kind of stuck with us too, until we get a few guests on board to tell us their stories. So, Ben, how's your week been?
Another absolute triumph. It's been a bit of a steadying the ship week. Nothing exciting's happened. I was happy to see the budget come and go because the day after, all of a sudden, it was like the taps opened for the order book again. So that was nice. I've been thinking for a while that I slowed down. We didn't lose much, probably 20% down on our average. It's not massive compared to some of the top stories out there, but it was nice to see some of that come back. I see some families around us all putting Christmas trees up, so I get my usual bar humbug attitude for another week because it's a bit early for me. 12 days before, 12 days after I was raised, and it's November and you're putting Christmas trees up, by golly. But on the whole, I've had a reasonable week. The kids had brought home Chatter Bear from nursery, which you've never heard of Chatter Bear. It's basically a cuddly toy teddy bear, and when they go back, they have to take it on adventures and do things with it over the weekend. And then when they go back to nursery in the week, they have to talk about what they've done to the pictures that my wife's taken. So I'm ready for Chatter Bear to go back because it's constant. Glad to see some sunshine on Sunday, wasn't it? Terrible Saturday, but Sunday was nice. So all in all, pretty average. It was fun.
Pretty average. You are the master of doom and gloom. You say it yourself, you're a bar humbug. You are a bar humbug. You really are.
Oh, I can be a right miserable bastard, yeah. I watch One Foot in the Grave with Victor Meldrew, and that's exactly what's in front of me in a few years' time, if you would believe it.
You see, I have actually got the Christmas decorations up.
Yeah.
I had a weekend with my daughter this weekend, this one just gone, and we put the decorations up in November.
Mm-hmm.
She was super happy, super excited. And yeah, it was fun. And she did her letter to Santa as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we took that down to the post office, got that done. And yeah, so she was pretty happy. I must say, though, we did the bear thing a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Now, she got Star of the Week and was super pleased that she got to bring Mr. Bear home from school. And I must admit, I agree with you. Trying to find lots of stuff to do to take photos of to then send back is a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tricky one because it's not as if I'm interested in impressing the teachers at the nursery school or anything. And it's not normally like me to put that much effort into pleasing somebody else outside the family, as it were. But I was really keen to crack on and get plenty done for some reason. And tonight maybe there's an element of keeping up with the Joneses there.
I must admit, I was as well. We took Mr. Bear on quite a few adventures.
What did you do?
It was funny. What did we do? We took Mr. Bear down to the Christmas market in Nottingham. We took Mr. Bear on the big wheel.
Mm-hmm.
We took him for a ride on the tram. We did some baking with Mr. Bear. We took him out and about quite a bit. There was a little bit, I suppose it's a little bit like, the parents' race on sports day.
Yes. Yeah.
Where you're trying not to compete, but you're absolutely competing and you want to
Yeah, that egg better not fall off my spoon.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of that where I was trying to not do too much. We weren't doing anything overly different to what I've got planned anyway. But it was, right, let's take a photo of this. Let's take a photo. It was almost like Instagram for a 4-year-old.
But yeah, okay. Never taken so many pictures.
Yeah, so that she could have pictures taken and then show her teacher back on the Monday morning. So, yeah. You said order book's been a little bit down for you. I think it's been a bit down for me too.
Yeah, just a couple of months. And I put that down to the uncertainty around the budget that we'd call customers up and just say, we spoke about X, Y, Z in the past. Is that order going to come through? And I go, oh, yep, still very much on the cards. Just we've not got the go ahead from our client yet. And they've not got the go ahead from their client yet. We're all waiting for the person at the top to push the button, which sort of says to me the uncertainty around the political climate. But I was confident for a while that it had come, and hopefully it continues to do so. So we'll take that. We were never really slow, quiet, and have the afternoon off chat, but there was just an element of the pressure wasn't on, and we like a bit of pressure sometimes. Keeps us on our toes.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Nice to have a bit of pressure back, I think.
I think, as I said to you earlier when we were chatting about this whole thing before, and I said, did you get to the end of the month and did you break even or make a profit?
No, we did okay. October was the worst month for me. But November was fine. Not too bad in the end.
I think that's the main thing. Even if you were a little bit down on where you'd like to be, if you've covered your bills for the month, then I think that's kind of, you know what, you're not doing too bad.
We've both been in, shall we say, different circumstances from covering the bills, haven't we? So we'll take that any day with a smile on our face.
Absolutely.
Stress-free night sleep.
And I think even if we've had months where technically on paper we've not covered the bills, but if you're balancing out, some months aren't going to be great, some months are going to be better than others. Oh, you just said October was even tighter. How did you cope mentally with October? How did it affect you?
I don't know, because yes, when you look back, October was the worst, but it's nowhere near as bad as it was 18 months ago.
Yeah,
so it's fine. I just hunkered down to my belief that when the budget's gone, we'll be back to a bit of sunshine. I think the only thing a poor October's done is left cash flow slightly worse off for November. But you've just said it. We've still covered all the bills, so nothing to complain about.
What are you thinking about December? We've chatted before. I was telling you it's effectively in manufacturing, it's a 3-week month.
Yes, 3-week
because
month.
you tend to be shut at Christmas. How does it feel going into December knowing that you've got 3 weeks to effectively make 4 weeks worth of income?
Absolutely fine, because the orders that were placed for me Thursday, Friday last week have all but covered the 3 weeks. So there's not, if the phone doesn't ring again, there's not the pressure on.
Yeah.
We've still got enough in. So I'm happy with that. And I'd be very surprised if the phone doesn't ring again. So we'll expect a bit of pressure there. And I've got a few guys there who are quite keen on the overtime. So I won't surprise them if the phone does keep ringing and they come in on Saturday mornings and between Christmas and New Year and stuff. And we keep churning through. That'd be nice.
What's the main thing you're manufacturing right now, though? Because obviously we've chatted about ourselves and our mental health, but we've not really talked much about what each of our businesses actually do. So tell me about your business, what you're doing at the minute with FlickTex.
In short, the reason we exist is to manufacture quality products quickly and efficiently as possible. So for that, we don't have much of a product range anymore. I used to. We focus on 4 things. PVC partitions and doors in factories and warehouses is the bulk of what we do. So you want to keep the heat in or have quick access. We'll make an external door, sell it to installers and engineers and technicians. They're quite busy at the minute in the run-up to Christmas. Down on last year, October and November, very down on last year. But again, I think that was just the bigger firms don't want the CapEx budget until later we've had to say. We do a lot for the waste industry, the nets that go over skips. That's probably about a quarter of what we do. And one reason I'm very happy about that is it's a legal requirement. So when it breaks, you buy another one.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what the economy's doing. Putin can make peace tomorrow. Interest rates could skyrocket. Absolutely anything. It doesn't matter. It's a legal requirement. And we do a bit of commercial leisure, which always dips this time of year anyway. Awnings for pubs, side panels for pubs. A bit of a spurt on at Easter and a bit of a spurt on September time when everybody's getting ready for the season ahead. And that's about it, mate. To be honest, we keep it simple.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And
we are.
I think you and I have had conversations around that
Mm.
before when your previous company, you kind of tried to do everything for every man and their dog,
I said yes to everything.
and you seem to be a lot more focused.
Yeah, it's when we look back, the things that really grew the business as a whole, even though we did everything, were them 3 or 4 things.
Yeah.
Competition isn't particularly strong in those areas. There's a bit of margin in it. And there's other products where the competition's very strong. The only way you're going to do it is by being cheaper. And at a time where training staff takes a while, and at a time where you have to, how do you train staff to do everything? Stupid. Absolutely stupid. The big light bulb moment for me is people might start businesses, but businesses run on processes and procedures and policy. And my little business almost runs itself, not quite, but pretty much runs itself, because we don't chop and change the product range. There's no explaining from me, and there's a procedure for bloody everything.
Yeah.
It's efficient. We make things quite efficiently. Hence, there's a few quid at the end of the. In a nutshell, that's what we do. Very rarely would I work with general public, sadly. Very rarely do I step out of those 3 or 4 things.
And I think that's something I've noticed very different from when we first met and you were in your old business, if you like, the previous business. When I first kind of started chatting to you and came to your old place, you'd got a bit of this, a bit of that.
Yeah, there's a bit of everything.
You've got material, lots of different materials all over the place.
Costs a fortune.
And you seem a lot more locked in now.
The building's 3 times the size and 3 times the price, because you have to do everything.
Yeah.
So you said the word is focus, and I think if you find your niche and focus at it, you'll grow a business.
You said that you found your kind of niche. Was that because of what happened with your previous company? Did you just make that decision to go, right, I'm doing those 3 things because it was those 3 things when I look at it that made money?
Mm-hmm. Have you seen The Founder, the film, Donald's film? Anyway, everyone listening, if you haven't seen it, watch it. There's quite near the beginning, the 2 brothers, Ken and McDonald, noticed that 85% of their sales are burgers, fries, and soft drinks. So everything else went, let's just focus on that. Burgers, fries, soft drinks. Let's be the best we can be. Burgers, fries, soft drinks. And it was that I had a light bulb moment with me. Oh yeah, what have I been doing? Let's just do burgers, soft drinks, and fries.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you end up doing a better job. You do a much better job of burgers, fries, and soft drinks than you otherwise would have done when you're trying to do whatever else, steak and chicken and whatever else. So no, it was very much a focus, be better, it's easier.
I think that's something we both learned in the, and it's a mistake a lot of people kind of start out with, isn't it? I think a lot of people that start up try and be everything to everyone because a customer, potential new customer, asks them, can you do this? And the automatic response is yes, because you're trying to get business.
When we go into
you just keep becoming a yes man.
And we get a yes man, and we go into people pleasing mode. And you want to please your accountant first, not this person who doesn't care about you. We were at a Christmas fair over the weekend. Took Chatterbear, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And one of the stalls we went to selling badges, and they're quite cool. Not really bothered, but they take your picture and then put your badge inside an ornament for your Christmas tree. So I thought, that'd be quite cool. And I think it was £8 each. So I've got 3 kids, £24. Yeah, that sounds quite cool. And I'd put them on every year until they break, I guess. Hopefully keep them for a fair few years. Bargain. So we take the picture with 3 kids and Chatterbear, which is always interesting, especially with mine, who one twin really doesn't like her photo being taken. The other one we think on the autistic spectrum, only fairly minor, but it has to be choreographed in detail beforehand. Now, this man's going to take your picture, try and smile. It takes a good few minutes to get us going, and then we have a meltdown when we're through it. And anyway, by the by, we've got these ornaments, 24 quid, so he goes to pay. I've never met these people before in my life. I'm clearly never going to see them again in my life, ever. Why did I get a 30% discount? Didn't ask the one.
Okay, so you got an automatic discount?
Yeah, I get my card out ready to pay. So how much was that? £24, £25? And she says, yes, but I do for you for 19. Why? You've just lost a fiver. If she saw 50 people that day, she's 250 quid out of pocket.
That does seem bizarre.
For being a people pleaser. But we've all done that. I've done that.
Yeah.
I've done that. Well, yes, I'll help you out, mate. Why the fuck do I want to help anyone else out? They don't care about me. That's not quite true. Some do. But when you've only just met the person, especially when there was no hope of repeat business, there was repeat business, maybe it's worth doing that, try and build a bit more rapport, trust, etc. And I will go back there, I'll tell my friends. I'm not going to tell my friends. My friends can't go back there if I wanted to. The craft fair was only on for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Anyway, I saved a £5.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because so one of the ladies that works for me on the machines, she's got a little sideline business making dog collars that she takes, really nice. They're beautiful dog collars. She takes them to craft fairs. She's only just started, and she was saying to me, I need to get sales. Therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a set, and I'm going to knock £5 off for the set. And I said, why? I said, why are you knocking £5 off for the set? And she said, well, I need people to buy them. And I said, well, do you? If you want to give something to them, and this is an old trick I learned in retail when I was really young, when I, my kind of Saturday job. It was, I said, well, why don't you use some of your scrap material and make a little bow tie or a little bag, and then put a £10 price on it. If that only costs you £1 to make or £2 to make, put it on your stand at £12 because it would be worth that. And what you do is you'd say to the customer, buy these two things and I'll give you something free. Giving a customer something for free as a bonus when they either don't expect it or afterwards, you're not discounting your product.
Nope.
You're not, because if you discount your product, you're devaluing your product in my eyes.
Listeners, gifts work 10 times better than discounts. Don't give them a discount, give them a free gift. Anybody shopped on Viking stationery, they are not the cheapest, but you get a free box of biscuits or whatever with every order. They are appealing to people who are office managers not spending their own money. They get their ink and their stationery, and then they all get a box of biscuits to share around the office. Good old Viking, free biscuit. No, they bollocks free biscuits. They've just overpaid by 10% for stationery. The biscuits are well covered, but everybody sees the wonderful gesture of the free gift. Give them a gift, don't give them a discount. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, that's fine. And it's really interesting with it being Black Friday last week.
Of course. Yeah.
I saw so many promotions which were 50% off and 45% off. What I didn't see so much is something that I was taught when I was, again, really, really young in retail. I worked in an outdoor shop, and we used to have sales where it was buy one, get one free, the old bug off deal. And effectively what you're doing is you're giving a customer 50% off. And I was kind of, well, how does, what's the difference? The difference is if you knock 50% off, let's say you've got I think these were fleeces at £20. Let's say they're £20 a piece. If you sell it for £10, that fleece, 50% off, what you've done is you've just valued that fleece to a customer at £10. So they see it as it's a £10 product. It was never a £20 product. It was a £10 product. If you do it as it's £20, buy one, get one free, the customer sees it as a £20 product and they're going to get a free one. They don't see it that they're buying. What they're actually doing is buying two £10 products. The other thing that happens is if you do 50% off, the customer comes in and buys one. If you do it buy one, get one free, you've just sold two. So you've just sold double your number of units.
It's psychology of selling. As you know, I've got a sideline with a strategy course, and I go into quite a bit of detail on psychology of selling. It's a fascinating subject, but not many small businesses upsell. Not many small businesses do these offers.
Yeah. And this is the thing I've never got with small businesses. Lots of small businesses think about discounting, and I suppose we've kind of, moved on to a slightly different topic, but think with Black Friday sales, everybody's looking at discounting, and all I saw, or the majority of what I saw, was get a discount, get 10% off or 20% off, rather than get something free.
Do you know, in another walk of life sort of thing, being cheap has the reverse effect. In of the three product lines I've mentioned, in two of them, being cheap is a negative, because people go, why is it that cheap? It must be shit. And they go somewhere else.
Yeah. And I think I found that as well.
Do your homework on your rivals. What do they charge for theirs? Don't be cheap.
But I think the other thing is we've sometimes been told, or I've been told by potential customers, oh, you're a little bit more expensive. They then receive the product and they understand why. They understand why we were more. And I think it's that thing of why's a Rolls Royce more expensive than a Ford?
Both get
Because you're paying for a Rolls Royce.
You're paying for it.
And you're paying for that quality. So I think devaluing yourself is a massive risk.
Agreed. If you're going to compete on price, you have already lost, because Temu will bring it here from China for 10% of what you're selling it for.
Yeah.
Or maybe not 10%, but hell of a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and I think it's value added.
Pick things where
you're looking to add value.
The other thing I did was do your homework on the type of clients in the sector, because if they're all skint, they're all going to struggle to pay you, and you're going to have grief chasing money. I don't have much grief chasing money, only a little bit. But then again, I don't work with farmers or lorry drivers anymore. I got a lot of grief getting paid a couple of years ago because I work for a lot of lorry drivers. They're not doing it to me on purpose. They're not doing it to me on purpose. They're skint too.
Yeah.
No one's doing anything maliciously. Don't do it. Do your homework on your client base.
Changing the subject. So what else have you been doing with the kids?
We chat a bit. Well, we went to dance class, so we go to dance class every Saturday morning. And the thing with my twins, I've got one who is a little bit more confident than the other. So I mentioned episode 1, I think we had restrictive growth syndrome with our twins. So one's significantly bigger than the other. One was 5 pounds, one was 3 pounds. And they were 6 weeks premature or something. And so the slightly bigger one was the first one to crawl, first one to walk, first one to talk, first one to play with toys, do pretty much anything. So the slightly smaller one, although they're caught up now, it's in the mindset that should sooner sit back in the background a little bit. So getting her to, come on, bloody do something is one of my niggly pet hates. Where am I going with this? That's right, we were at dance class. So I've got one twin dancing with Chatter Bear throughout, and the other twin who half the time joins in, half the time doesn't. From there, we went to swimming. So we've got Chatter Bear taking pictures by the pool and everything. And swimming lessons are always a bloody pain for me because, again, we've got one twin who's dead keen to listen to everything the swimming teacher wants to do, and she does quite well. And then the other twin who's took 5 or 6 weeks just to get her to come off the rail by the side. So, of course, when you're at that point, you're very encouraging, really positive. Well done, you, for joining in and doing this and just coming out into the pool and splashing. Whereas the other twin's been splashing for 6 weeks. So then you've got to praise them both. But as soon as you start praising one for coming off the side, the other one gets the ump because I'm doing backstroke nearly. So that's always fun and games. We went there. We went swimming. We went to the Christmas fair that I mentioned because there's a friend of my wife's who has just started a sideline doing a little bakery business, but she had a stand.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, and booked in to have a portrait taken at some point with somebody there. And we went playing in the woods with Chatter Bears on the Sunday because it was nice weather on Sunday. Chatter Bears climbed trees and went spotting the squirrels and the birds, and we got a little stick out and did fishing and that kind of thing. Chatter Bears. Yeah, the role played where I had to be the dragon, which is I flap my wings and breathe fire and then get hit by a stick. So that's always fun. Basic stuff you do with 4-year-olds.
Yeah, that's nice. It's interesting you mentioning, and I would believe there's an added complication with it being twins, but when you were talking about one of them not being so confident and that sort of thing, I was feeling the same thing with my daughter when she was effectively the same age as your two, because she started school in September. One thing I will say is school's changed her totally. She's become so much more confident going to school in foundation stage just since September than she was at nursery. I was not worried as such, but I was thinking, well, is she going to become more confident? When's she going to start interacting with more children her age and so on and so forth? School changed her totally. I dropped her off this morning and she was talking to the other children whilst we were waiting to go in the gate. We were a little bit early. I got my timing slightly wrong and we arrived 10 minutes before we were kind of due to arrive, so we stood outside the school gates before anybody else. But when other children started to arrive, she would speak to them, wave at them. She never used to do that at nursery. So I think when yours start school next year, because yours are going next September, aren't they?
Yeah, we're a year younger than you are.
Yeah. I think you'll see a big change in the girls in terms of their confidence.
I hope so.
Have you started to prepare? Have the girls done their Christmas list yet? I remember when we were younger, I don't know if you did this, I would sit with the Argos catalogue. You don't get an Argos catalogue anymore.
No.
So how do kids now choose what they want for Christmas?
Nah, they keep jabbering on Hello Kitty or this, that and the other, but it's my wife's birthday Wednesday, so I'm let's get through Mummy's birthday before we think about it, which isn't going very well, if I'm honest, but that's how I change the subject at the minute.
Now, obviously your wife won't be listening to this before her birthday, so I'm assuming she can't hear. Have you got plans for her for her birthday? Are you doing anything? Are you managing to escape as parents at any point?
No. I'm Victor
Are you not spoiling it?
I'm Victor Meldrew, aren't I? Bought some flowers. That's the kids, what they wanted to buy. I've been and bought them today. Got to write a card somehow. I might have a takeaway. I didn't even tell anybody when it was my birthday, let alone do something.
But that's time for you guys.
When do we get time? We've got 3 ankle biters. One of them who's you can't be more than 3 feet away from her at any given time.
Are you not going to cook her a meal after the kids have gone to bed?
I wouldn't inflict my cooking on anybody. The only time I get to test my smoke alarm.
Yeah, I mean, just because you're parents of 3 toddlers and, 2 toddlers and a baby, doesn't mean that you can't have time for you guys.
It's true, but where are you going to get it?
Well, we've talked about this before and talked about kind of going to the spa and that sort of thing together. That sounds a little bit dodgy, actually.
Well,
let's go to the spa together as two middle-aged guys. How do you, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested, how do you chill out? How do you take that time for you and manage that being a parent?
I don't know, you just got to find something to zone out about. The kids are full on every day, work full on every day, and when they're in bed, I play strategy games sometimes, from like the old ones from the 90s, just because they're cheap and nostalgic for me.
What strategy games?
Civilization and Red Alert, if anybody who's in their 40s and remember them from the 90s. Very dull, very boring, and I'm very happy to be a dull, boring, middle-aged, rotund, follically challenged, miserable git sometimes. I don't know what else to say. It's true. It's true. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I'm a bit like, I can see Carl Pilkington's point quite often. Why do I have to go around the world when I'm happy here? I'm happy here.
You, funnily enough, you do remind me a bit of Carl Pilkington.
I'm sarcastic.
In your outlook.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with caravan in Yorkshire or wherever we went to Blackpool this year and Morecambe. That went on.
Nice.
Yeah, it was lovely. You don't need to go abroad. Especially when you've got 3 ankle.
No, but
scream all night.
Yeah, I get that totally. But you guys, yourself and your wife, surely do you manage between your times where you can eat, sort of go out separately or go and do things for you?
Yeah, a little bit. We try and go out, eat once a week. I play squash for a friend of mine, and this week I'm at Business Club, which is the most easygoing, low-key social business club going. I don't think half of us even know what we do for a living, but I enjoy the social. Laura goes out with a friend, not every week, but probably every other week or 1 in 3. It's just scheduling's tricky. Everyone's got busy lives. Everyone's got different things that they do. So Laura works Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and she tends to go out with other mums and other kids who are preschool age or Monday, Tuesday. But sometimes scheduling it's a bloody nightmare because one of her friends' little girl has a nap at 10, whereas our little boy has a nap at 12. Well, how do you see him in the morning then?
Yeah, but what about that time of not being a parent, that couple of hours? You've mentioned that you try and go and play sort of squash once a week, so I'm guessing the missus looks after the kids on an evening.
Normally I only go after they're in bed, hence recording this podcast is when they're in bed, we'll do it after sort of thing. Laura does the same with a friend of hers. Every now and then they'll go out, we'll get them in, take them to bed for 7, by 7:30 you might go out something. But how else do you do it at this age? parents live close enough, but also too far to be a regular, just pop round. Well, a good things, part side to it and bad side to it. But there's an element of we can't just bring anybody to pop over for an hour's drive.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I think a lot of couples do forget when they become a parent, actually, that you need to take time for you and schedule that time in for you as well. I know when I was with my daughter's mum, we struggled with that.
Mm.
We struggled with that, and that didn't help our relationship at all. And I think it's really important that maybe once a month or even once every couple of months, and you plan it in. If you're fortunate enough that you've got family that might come over for one evening just for a few hours and babysit or even have the kids overnight when they're comfortable enough, and assuming they're comfortable enough, I think it's really important to schedule in that time for you and the missus to connect.
I don't disagree, but there's also an element. We tried that one day last year, and by the time we get out to do something, we're sat there yawning anyway. Don't forget, we're normally in bed for 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
A little teething lad who's up 3 times a night, and then the twins are up at 5.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's an evening wasted far from it, but there's an element of fatigue, cannot be bothered, which is completely wrong of me. I should be bothered. I should make more effort. Once you get out there, you'll enjoy yourself, but sit here now. Do I want to go out tonight or equivalent on Saturday night? Not really. Sooner talk to you.
You'd sooner record a podcast.
I would sooner record a podcast with one follower than go out with and get pissed up with the lads. Not that bothered.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the going out and getting pissed up with the lads. But when you're in a relationship, even if this is going to be my advice to you, then need to, once the kids are in bed, order a takeaway and make sure. What's her favourite takeaway?
Pizza, probably. We'll have that.
So you're going to order pizza. You're going to find a movie, and you're going to have a couple of hours just for you guys to kind of curl up on the sofa, have your pizza, watch your movie, and have that little bit of time just for you two. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, keep the podcast clean. This is a family show, isn't it? But it's not that much of a challenge. I've already said I'd probably do a takeaway. The challenging part is what to watch, because we always bloody struggle there into different things and stuff.
Then let her choose.
She always does anyway, same as every other day. It'll be fine. That's pretty similar to most evenings anyway. So
okay, but actually pick a movie.
Well, it's not up to me for letting her choose, is it?
No, you need to insist that it's a movie. It's something where you've got to sit for an hour and a half, 2 hours, rather than just a 15-minute thriller. Something nice, romantic.
Romantic. Well, you're contradicting every term going. Something that we both like and make it romantic.
No, you don't have to like it. This is her birthday.
Oh, well, same as every other day. I've got to be a bit careful now. I do sympathise with politicians at times like this, because there's every chance she'll listen to this in a few days' time and I'll get in trouble.
I'm going to check with her. I'm going to check with your wife what you do for her birthday on the evening.
You can check.
And I'm going to make sure she doesn't go into detail, because I don't want to know all the details.
We've been married too long for too much of that, don't worry.
Hold on, you say that you've recently had another child.
A year ago. 18 months ago.
And it's her birthday. So, I'm not going to go into ask for the sordid details, but I want to know that you actually took time to reconnect and actually have an evening for you two.
Think of something.
I genuinely think it's so important when you're trying to juggle a relationship, whether you're married or not married, a business and kids.
I agree. I completely agree. And I perhaps play it down a little bit now. You've put me on the spot, but we don't live exciting lives. Probably why we're still together. We don't have to go jet setting to the Caribbean to stay together. I do know. I'm not going to name names. No, you don't need to go. I know relationships like that. If they don't go and live an extravagant lifestyle, it won't last. What are you doing together in the first place then? There we go.
Yeah, I agree. It's not about that, but I think it's about connection. I think the most important thing is you end up in such a busy life being a parent, her with work, you with work, that you forget about each other. You forget the reason that you got into a relationship and what it was like when you were first into a relationship before the kids.
Yeah, you've thought about this more than I have. I mean, if I do everything you say, she's going to wonder who I am.
Yeah, but maybe she'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe she'll be wondering what I've done wrong. Why are you being so nice to me? What are you up to? More like.
If she's wondering why you're being so nice to her, then, you need to be nice to her more often. Little gestures.
Little gestures. I did all right. I won a raffle the other week, so I've got the chocolates down here somewhere, so they're ready to raffle.
Did you?
Half my Christmas shopping's on the raffle I won.
I think actually that is a good point to end this week. But I am going to be asking you next week what you did and how you made it special.
Not guaranteeing you'll be impressed, am I? You can ask all you want.
It's not about impressing me.
No, I know.
It's about following through and connecting with your wife.
Well, we do okay now.
It's about keeping the romance alive. And I don't mean in a physical sense, I mean connection. I've put you on the spot now.
You've put me on the spot, yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
And actually, that wasn't my intention at all. It was purely because of the fact that you mentioned it was your wife's birthday.
Mm.
And it occurred to me that so many couples with children, with busy work lives, forget about themselves. Forget that actually it isn't just about the kids. It isn't just about work. It's about you two being a team.
And we do quite well there, to be fair. We do kind of face adversity pretty well together.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll be checking.
Yeah, fine.
So, on that note, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Please remember, do make sure you follow us, subscribe. If you're interested in coming on, leave us a comment. We will get in touch. Any advice, do come on, leave us comments. You can follow us across multiple platforms. And yeah, I think that's it for the week. We've got to the end of another episode, and have a great end to the week, and we will see you next time.